Well, after this is a second part of the first one. Sometimes when I change screens, it flips it off on me. So sorry about that. But this is cleaning up my trains in my other zone. I got a 60 and a 70 diesel out of here, and a 60 and a 50 and a 70 steam. And I try and leave the steams on internationals. And the diesels I actually use on, there's one, and I actually use them on regulars. They're going to shoot through and starts at 7, so get a little ahead. Well, my biggest problem with this 7 thing is that I always tend to go off and talk to probably shot off more than like this. So I started to get there. About 40 trains per second. Okay, I've got 5 minutes before I see anything else. The contracts that I'm running through, where Richard was really the one, this is the one that I played off all the meg legs on. And I had to play off 325 meg leg trips, and I played it off in 2 days. And didn't even succeed in filling all these, so that kind of leaves me something to do. But we can go through and start deleting some of these. And doing some other things with the spots. I forget where I keep things quite a bit of the time. So, but it gets pretty confusing. I don't know. You know, I've never watched anybody else play this, so I don't really know if anybody else does it the way I do it, or if I'm looking like a complete idiot here. But I'm trying to find the train that goes to, oh, well, now I'm feeling a bit. I'm looking for an HT 6500, so I can get you a Ronnie's train back running. They're hard to see in that picture. It's very small, so I'm not finding this train. Well, this train is not here, so. Get their contract for the sometimes I don't let people have the product. And usually, when they ask for certain types of cars, I found that they really do mean just that type of car. And they really don't, you're not really required to, like this, for instance, you could send her the fuel or you could not send her the fuel. Her train, because he needs diesels as well, I'm taking him, but I've got XP cars on it just to get XP, because I don't like open spaces. But to take the diesel, I don't have to take her all that diesel. They'll still accept the 3 cars. And if you don't like giving fuel away, then don't. You know, you may have to come up later in another contract and fill it in, but I don't know, I find that when they're asking for a specific number, it doesn't seem to pertain to anything that happens after it. So that's just, you know, I will probably disassemble these and then go back through and put an appropriate train together to take the rest of Richard, his stuff in. So I'm just kind of dismantling here as we go along. But you can see how I use these and how I put these together for 1 and 2 cars. I always try and use a tailpiece where I could, because it gives you XP. So it helps you get through the levels. But other than that, so we're going to go through and, okay, so we're going to disassemble these ones we don't need. I have 24 spots, so when it comes to starting and doing these, the reason I put 1 freight car in each one is because it made it much quicker to start them. I didn't have to click and then OK for no reason because it's not part of a contract or something of that venture. So, okay, so now we can go through and review what the contracts need. And, you know, I've got something going to just about everybody here. As you can see, I'm very close on most of these. So we need to get, looks like we need about 15,000 nuclear. And we need, I do this a lot too while they come in and they're all running under the timer. I forget that they're under the timer. And I let them sit there and burn off my time. So I would highly recommend just trying to pay attention to them. That time I didn't let them sit, but I've worked on contracts and let them sit there through the duration of the task. Sometimes it doesn't seem to work. It's hard to remember all this stuff. So as you can tell, we're restarting again on the 7-minute. So I try and always leave all my, naturally all my slots full regardless of what's in them. You see, still running my grasshopper. Got high XP numbers. If I run when I need steam engines for achievements, I can run that on 5 minutes. Get quite a few numbers out of it pretty quickly. Flipping away here on the speed. On the speed button. Okay, 5 minutes again, yeah, I have plenty of time to move on, so we'll move on back over to contracts, and we can set up a train for 41 million for old Giovanni here. I don't think we need a train that big. resorting to these. This thing always does that to me, I swear. Yeah, 7 million. I always like to use mail cars because mail cars don't cost you passengers. See how much I can get out of this. Let's see how the number is so significant when you run something like this, but then when you get into all the stuff, the fact that the shop gives you, all the numbers are so small you can't make any money off of any of this stuff. It's all cute to have and store, but when it comes to actually making numbers and getting through the game, it's a ridiculous venture, you know. So it's like this here once again at 41 million or 40 million and 900,000. It is better for me to go here. Wait for a passenger train. Grab one of these off the line. Take it to international and it'll do that in one trip. Whereas if you play with regular engines, you're going to be there for trip after trip after trip. And it just gets really old. I purchased a lot of other cars in the process. And did sell them. Actually didn't need the money, I just sold them because I got tired of being in storage. But I had sets of 17, 18, 20, 17, 9, 17, and 21 of really high-end cars, which I sold, and I'm sorry I did, because now when I do internationals, I always run out of cars. You should always be able to do 40, 50 million in one shot, see? Big numbers. So, that's not a big deal. I forgot about this guy. I don't know what this guy is. 24 cars of crap. It's funny, these contracts, the stuff they have you do, a lot of it is so much of it is just, Jesus Christ, just shit rod. These cars they make you all, no wonder they put them in a contract. Because like I said, if you put them out here actually online, you wouldn't be able to make any money off of these. They're the biggest, biggest piles of shit you ever wanted to see. So, so once again, you can tell by the way I'm glancing through the inventory here or wandering around, I'm trying to find the cars that I use for there they are right there. See, this is actually, it only wants you to use 24 cars, so you don't have to use the MPs, but I always check too the DSBMA second class. DSBMA, yeah, second class, 24 cars. So, this is a diesel train? Or what is it? Okay. Alan's looking for diesel trains, so we're going to send this to Alan. When you're hauling cars and not freight, I never split with freight because you end up sharing freight for no reason. But Alan, he's just looking for diesel trains. And old Giovanni, or, excuse me, was it Giovanni? Oh, it was Ethan. It was Ethan. He wants his trains. We'll load up them. Now, the passengers, once again, it doesn't matter. You'll get the same credit for no passengers. So if you're ever in a position where your passenger number is way down low, right, then it doesn't matter. You can actually send us with 100 passengers. But if you had passengers to burn, 34,000 when I have 15 million passengers doesn't seem like much. And you'll find that as the money stacks up for these guys, it might mean you don't have to take them so much later for something. So, I personally like to not send anything because I find I've tested the system and it seems like paying ahead really doesn't apply. So I try and send as little as possible. So, see, this one here is the one where, yes, I needed these 3 cars are part of the contract, and the diesel's part of the contract. But all of these XPs are just things I threw on there to get so 7 minutes are back. I think I'm going to borrow the Valentina. So that see if I can haul 50 million on one shot. So we can now see if this will work. Yes, this will. See, these numbers are so much bigger on these, on the achievement trains or on the specials. You know, it's not funny. So, and that makes what I see. I'm not even going to use half the train. I just need 40,800,000 something. I like to be safe. So I'm over there, but I'm over by about 34,000, but I'm going to go ahead and send it. And that'll take care of him in one shot. You can see generally what I'm doing now. If anybody has any comments, of course, wants to tell me that I'm doing this like I'm a complete idiot, please let me know. Like I said, I have nothing to compare it to. So I just put these videos up every now and then because I feel like maybe somebody else is playing and kind of wonders like I do as well, what's the sequence of this? And like I said, with me, the challenge is I spend no money at this at all. There's been times when I'm really tempted, but I just don't. And I'm on level 373 of 129 billion. I just spent I just spent all my emeralds that I built up for a while. I just recently purchased this engine, and then I just recently purchased this thing left here. And a lot of stuff you don't get to have complete trains because you have to spend emeralds to get it. So, a lot of times one of the trains like this will just have second class on them, but the numbers are so big that I don't think it's really that much. I get first class numbers off of things that I get, like the Valentina and the Edison trains. I've got all of them, first, second, third class, all of them to it. And my new freight train, which I'm very proud to have gotten. It took me 4 months to get this thing. Constantly pursuing all the particular the trains that I had to, the amount of trains I had to send with certain amounts of things. So there it is, the true grit liner. One hell of a trade. So I've showed you how you can cheat your international trains and just load them up with single cars and kill your numbers off when you're getting into your achievements. Don't be in a hurry to go through contracts because they never end. And some of them are very long, 100 places, and, 100 different contracts with a couple of them. And they keep adding them on. But I usually say try and keep them in order, I found. But if you skip up to Christopher, Christopher tends to have if you want to get into Hyperloops, and he really will shoot you into Hyperloops, and if you play him out, you end up with several nice pieces off of him, which gets you a good start on Hyperloops. And there's a couple of 8 pieces that come up, engines that is. They're real money by them. Although I bought 2 of them, and to this day I have not been able to find out what cars they were. So either I missed something or I haven't brought them up yet. Pretty straightforward. So, go back and check the contracts here. Let's see where we got with all this mess. A little further down the road. 2 more for her. I want them emeralds. Alright. Now we can work on this one. That one's in. That one will be in shortly. This one's in. Oh, very close. Alright, Christopher will have to start working on you again here. So, as you can see, we got a demand for carbon over here. I've almost got all of them built. I just need 2 more. So, we'll bring in carbon to him and try and work these in order as much as I can, but they make it difficult. So, alright, well, this is Drivermilts, and thanks for watching. Like I said, if you have any suggestions or if anybody thinks I'm completely nuts over this, just let me know. I have expanded in the last 100 levels. I've expanded to 4 stations. This is the second one, which these are all completely full. There's no space to build anything else on. This is the third one. This is the newest one. I'm going to get 5 here in a minute, but I'm working on this one. Picking up a lot of spaces. My passenger count is, I'm at 1,095,000 per hour, but my flags, my flags have just recently expired. So I'm sure that's what that's all about. Yes, my flags have expired. Now, I have, through the course of this, actually acquired a pretty hellacious selection of flags. These are flags that I got off of Edison, and these are just other flags that I picked up along the way that are free, out of the freebies and everything. So it's you can see I'm not generally hurting a whole lot for flags. I have quite a few. I had the last chance in the last couple of months to spend a lot of time to play this, and I've been working at home, and now due to the virus they want us all to stay indoors, so I'll probably sit here and play this quite a bit more, but I'm just glad I have something to do. And like I said, I feel like I picked this up probably about the middle of November, which was the 3rd time I'd started a game in this, and so this is how far I've got, 373. I haven't spent a dime through it all. There's, like I said, the only suggestions I had was try and avoid the steam. You still have to run a lot of steam in order to get your contracts filled. So you just obviously spend enough money to this guy, because now he gets to win a whole bunch more cars that, once again, these cars, when you go back to storage and you look at these cars, when you look at the number on them, I mean, as far as practical usage goes, you can collect them all you want, but as far as practical usage goes, a 300 at 100%, 28, 285, and 265, these are freaking, they're useless. You don't get anything off of them. You can run them all day and not make a dime. You could take that grasshopper and run it by yourself and do better than 3 or 4 of these. I'm serious. These things just, I kind of collect these, and my depot is quite full. And I buy a lot of train space and depots, so I only keep a couple open, but just about every set that I come across, well, not every, I'd say at least half of them now. If I like it, I keep it. And I just collect them. I've got tons of them. Some of these little ones are from the way beginning of the game. They're like the first set you have to have, which you probably know. And other stuff like this and its sister train. And just, these are all the achievement trains. I've got all the trains that were in the achievements. So now I'm working up through Megleves. I've already got Hyperloops that I'm storing in here. Some of the Megleves that I use I had more in here in storage, but I used them and broke them down for running that, running the contract out. So, but, so I like to store my trains. I save quite a few. I probably spend way too much on storage for these things. I guess you could go back and buy them anytime. You can always sell them back. But I don't know, I kind of like to keep them. To me, collecting these things is kind of part of it, I think. So it makes it kind of fun. I have quite a few of them. I'm probably out of spots now. Yeah, I got enough spots. Oh, so I'll have to double up and haul some plastic here. I'll go on those. But, yeah, and then when my spots are open, when I jumble trains around, like right here, I have a spot open because I borrowed that passenger train. Alright, so I will go over to Depot, decide which one of these I think has good numbers. And anyway, it's pretty good numbers. If there's ever a one that's of a certain product that I need, I already know that in the train stored in here there's little or no plastic, so I'm not going to get too wound up over it. But, see, there's other sets like that. So we're going to go back up and just take whatever one is the biggest number, because after all, we are capitalists, and that's what we're here for. So I'm going to put that one back to the station. See, I talked all the way through the last 5 minutes and let all my trains sit there. I do it every time. I'll forget about the last round. So I got 3 rounds, and then the last one came around, and I sat there and talked for the last few minutes and let it go. It's a very famous thing with me. It's one of my traits.